Hey y'all, it's me again. Listen, when you do God's work, He will do your work. What does God's work look like? Healing, taking care of yourself, looking at your shadow side, doing the shadow work, mastering your Lilith, cleaning out the corners of your heart, opening up your heart, cleaning your mind, cleaning your space. That's all a part of God's work. Because what happens is when you do that, you cleanse the connection with you and the divine. You flush the system out between you and the divine so that you can hear him better, so that you can see him better, so that you can experience him better, right? And sometimes we are on the cusp of the next big thing in our lives and we don't even know, right? And it'll look like, oh, I have this childhood trauma thing that I'm still working through. And instead of giving up on that, you keep going through that process. Instead of turning your back, you keep going through that process, right? Instead of saying, oh, I don't want to work on that, you keep going through that process. That's doing God's work. The scripture says, I would that you prosper and be in good health, even as your soul shall prosper. What happens when you clean up childhood trauma? Your soul prospers. What happens when you face abuse? Your soul prospers. What happens when you face those questions that you are even, those stones you're afraid to overturn and look up under? When you face those things, your soul prospers. And by proxy, consequently, you end up having a better physical health, a better emotional health, a better spiritual health, right? So it all starts to prosper. So I'm saying this to you because when I was growing up in church, they used to say, if you take care of God's business, he'll take care of your business. I'm 100% witness that if you take care of God's business, he will take care of your business. If y'all don't believe nothing else I say, I want you to know that at every turn of painful truth I've had to face in my life, at every single turn of painful darkness, mastering that Lilith. If you want to know what the Lilith is, pull up your birth chart, look in your birth chart, and it'll tell you where your Lilith is. Your Lilith is usually around the zodiac sign. Now, y'all can still keep saying that you don't believe in astrology if you want to. Keep that conversation. I'm gonna keep proving to you how it all works together. But if you pull up your chart, your birth chart, and say, where is my Lilith? And start working on that. Baby, y'all, if you take care of God's business, he will take care of your business. I'm telling you because he keeps showing me. I'm not even talking about in my sleep. I'm talking about in real time. If you take care of God's business, he will take care of your business. Take care of you. Take care of your mental health. Take care of your spiritual health. Take care of your physical health. Listen, it's a journey. I'm not going to sit here and lie to you and tell you I got it all down pat, because I don't. I don't. I'm finding out every day. But see, this is the thing. Every single day, he is loading me with these benefits. It just keeps getting better. The more we master our Lilith, the more we take care of God's business, the more we say the things that he is asking us to say, the more we take risks, even if people don't like it. Listen, people are not supposed to like what you do. If you are living a life to appease someone else, if you are living a life to look a certain way, you will never, ever, ever be friends with Brandy. Let me say that now, because as you all can see, I am who I am, and I always have been. But I learned very, very early that the best and most effective and most cohesive and the easiest thing for me to do was to be myself. I don't have to try to be somebody else. I am me. That's how I can sit here and tell you I'm getting a divorce. This is how I can sit here and tell you it wasn't sweet. This is how I can sit here and tell you my life has been full of turmoil. My life has been full of wrong turns. My life has been full of God help me's, right? So in mastering that means I'm not going to turn away from that. I'm going to focus in on this trouble. I'm going to focus in on the thing that needs to be addressed. And if that is the things that happen in church, if that is what the Lord tells me to say, guess what? I'm going to say it. If it is all the ways in which I went wrong in my life, listen, I asked a question on my social media a while back, and I said, have you ever ghosted someone? And no one really wanted to answer the question, but I had people inbox me. I was a ghoster. You know why I would ghost? Because I understood that it was easier for me to step away from people than to argue points that would never ever get across. I got to the point where I was tired of fighting with people. I was tired of arguing with people. So I'm not going to do it. The more I did that, the more peace I had in my heart. The more peace I had in my heart, that translated into my life. The more it translated into my life, I was able to walk in more faith. Okay? When I tell y'all I'm on a faith walk, I'm not joking. I'm on a faith walk. Same Brandy, as I said in the last video. I just decided to give God my hand completely. I decided that I could not continue to lean on my own understanding. I decided that it was much wiser for me to let the Lord do his thing. When you're going through divorce, or when you're going through a failed relationship, and a lot of people would want to be private with it, right? But see, I learned earlier that my life is not my own. I learned that my purpose is to help heal the community. So as I'm healing, as I'm learning, I have to teach, right? So y'all, do God's business. When you're good to you, you're good to God. When you're good to you, you can be good to people. It will be so easy for you to just be a sweet spirit. You don't have to fight. I also learned that I don't have to defend myself because God is going to do that. I also learned that I don't have to tell you every single thing. I don't have to tell nobody every single thing that's going on with me because vengeance is the Lord's, you see. I also learned that God was very, very serious about me. That's what I got. God he is very, very serious about me. My ancestors are very, very serious about me. I don't have to fight no more. I don't have to go back to jail. I don't have to go to jail for fighting no more. I don't have to sit on the phone and argue and cuss nobody out. I don't have to do that no more because I learned that vengeance really is the Lord's. You know how I learned that? I started to see how karma was affecting people around me. I noticed how things were happening to me, and then you would look up and it was like, in The Wizard of Oz, when the Wicked Witch of the West, the hurricane or the tornado happens and the house falls on her. That's what I started seeing spiritually, but almost physically with people. Things would happen and it was like I was walking karma for people, right? So I don't got to fight no more. We don't have to have no more conversations. That's taking care of God's business because I know my Lilith is an Aries, a fire sign. My Lilith wants to rage war. My Lilith wants to set it ablaze. But see, what I started to do is, so I know that's a trigger in my life. I'm not going to give Lilith the opportunity to act a fool. I'm going to teach Lilith how to shut up and let God do the work. I'm going to teach Lilith that I am in control. I'm going to teach Lilith that Brandy runs this operation. By doing that, it allows me to do God's work. It allows me to do God's business. It allows me to heal. It allows me to be a healer, right? So let me run that back for you. It's His will that we are in good health. It's His will that our mind is strong. It's His will that we're not being manipulated by people. It's His will that we can see through people. I had asked God a question like, there were so many things going on with me for so many years that nobody even, especially the spiritual people, nobody even picked up on. Nobody even paid attention to. I was in a way, but instead of people going in prayer and saying, Lord, show me what's going on, let me go to her in love, people just were complacent as long as I could pay them for the things that they wanted. As long as my hand was open to give people what it is that they desired with me, everybody was okay with me being Dark Lilith, you see. But the moment you start to master that Lilith, you let go of ego. I talked a few videos ago about the ego death. When you let that ego die, baby, you start to do God's business. And I'm telling you, this is the second morning that I have awakened from very dark, very spiritual, but very, very revealing dreams where it is very uncomfortable for me. No one really understands the process of being a spiritualist unless you're a spiritualist, right? You got to be someone that God really uses before you can really understand how painful that work is. But for years, I would be in spiritual warfare, sweating, sleep, just years and years and years and decades. And I could not understand what was going on with me. But the moment I told the Lord, okay, God, you can have my hand. The moment I said, I'm going to figure out why it is that when someone I don't like says something to me and it makes me feel a certain way inside, that I shut down. I got to go figure out why it is that my feelings are hurt. Why it is that I'm so triggered by my family all the time. Why is that, Lord? I don't like that. The moment I did that, I started mastering that Lilith. I started understanding, Brandy, you got a lot of fire in your chart, girl. You got to calm down. You got to calm down. The moment I started listening to my friends and say, girl, we need you here. The moment my blood pressure started to raise, the moment all of that stuff started, when it clicked for me and I started to master that darkness in my life started to change. I've always been sweet. I've always been the same person. And I can say I'm sweet. Yes. Yes, I can. Because I'm sweet. We got to stop talking negatively about ourselves and being self-deprecating. I've always been a sweet person, but I'm also very brash. I can get straight to the throat real quick. Real quick. So I didn't like that about myself because that doesn't help you in life. You won't get far in life fighting everybody. You won't get far in life fighting every cause. You know what's even more important? You're not going to get far in life by defending everybody either. I don't defend people no more. You know why? Because I started to see that my defense of them, one, it was crippling to them, right? They couldn't understand or get themselves together because I'm fighting the war for them. But I also started to see that it was only putting me in turmoil. I'm out here fighting for the cause and you done moved on. I'm fighting for the cause and you have taken up your bed and walked. And here I am stuck with the bag of still fighting for the cause. My entire life, fought for a cause with my father. Defended my father. Went up against everybody as a kid. Because I believed in my father. And I was wrong. I was wrong. I was wrong. Because I didn't know any better. But also, there were no leaders around me to say, this is a child. There was no one around me that said, let's protect her. So what I did was I just went on ahead and grew up and did what I had to do. There was a lot of days of me trying to figure out my next step, my next move. How am I going to eat today? And this is under my parents' roof. How am I going to get where I need to? How am I going to get to school today? But I made it happen. God made it happen. We made it happen as a team. You see, so I don't need, no one can tell me what God can do. No one can tell you. There can be no conversation about, oh, Brady, you haven't had any hard struggles. Oh, baby, you don't even know. And another thing, don't covet something that someone else has. You don't ever know what a person is dealing with under their own roof. I guarantee you, everything is not as it seems. Okay, let's be clear. Everything is not as it seems. So, but the moment you start to look at a situation and say, God, I want more for myself. I want to be more for myself. God will take care of your business. This is the second moment. This is where I was going. This is the second morning in about 7 days that I've had these intense dreams where God has been revealing things to me. And then I woke up and there was a miracle that had happened for me. A miracle. I'm not talking about no small stuff. I'm talking about big miracles. If you take care of God's business, He will take care of your business. But you got to learn how to master your Lilith. You got to learn how to walk through the fire to address the crazy in your own mind. You got to walk through the pain of all the weird things that have happened in your life, all the situations you put yourself in. Hello, because I did. All the situations where you made the wrong turn. Hello, because I made a lot of wrong turns. When you have no guidance in life, and I'm talking to a whole generation out there, but when you have parents who are doing other things and nobody's paying attention to this, what's going on with you, it is very, very easy for you to fall through the cracks. People forget about you. People don't check on you. I come from a big family, a huge family. No one was checking on me. You see, there was no, in a big old family, nobody, and not just a big family, a big spiritual family. No one has spiritual eyes to see the pain, the darkness, the misunderstanding, the struggle I was in. The only person that came to my aid was God. There were people that God placed in my life that were helpful on my journey. But ultimately, I walked this path alone. You talking about, my last video was about the path being lonely. Baby, it was lonely for me for years. For years. I guarantee you, the very marriage you're coveting, there's something going on that you don't know about. I guarantee you, the very man that you say, oh, he's so wonderful, oh, he's so nice, I wish I had him, that person might be getting knocked upside the head, or cheated on, or verbally abused, or emotionally abused, or spiritually abused, sexually abused. Y'all, master your Lilith. Get in touch with the dark sides of yourself, because when you do that, you are doing the work of the Lord. It allows you to clear that channel between you and God so you can spiritually see much better and much further. It allows you to experience things much better, and to be able to recall things in a much more effective and strategic way. When you do God's business, y'all, he gonna do your business. He gonna make a way for you. He is going to ensure that you have what it is that you need. I am watching in real time. My mind is legit being blown by the things in which God will do if you just humble yourself and ask for help. Ask your spirit guides. Once again, I'm a spiritualist, so this might lose some of the religious people in the community, okay? But don't be ignorant to believe that the only spirit working out here in your favor is God. Don't be that. You can't possibly be that small-minded. If we serve a God, whatever God you've chosen, but if you serve a God, whatever deity that you have associated yourself with, they use other forces. You do know that the devil works for God, or Satan, or Lucifer, or the dark forces. They all work for God. All of them. All of them. Even the ones that are coming up against you and attacking you. This is all a part of the plan. So, in order to be in better connection with the warfare, in order to be in better connection with who you are, you have to master your Lilith. You have got to get in control with the dark sides of yourself, the painful sides of yourself, the things that you don't want to talk about, the things that you don't want to recall. Once you start to understand that, things start making so much more sense to you. Then you start to hear from God. Then you start to experience a different level of God. The next thing you know, you're ascending. You're ascending. All the things that used to scare you don't scare you no more. I was a person for many years that was so afraid of death. So very afraid of death. Now, this is all crazy because I also interned in a funeral home for 2 years, taking care of the deceased, and I was afraid of death. But there is no fear in God. You should be able to walk boldly through life, claiming what it is that you desire. You should be able to walk boldly through life, claiming victory. But the only way to be able to do that is you got to clear out those channels so that you can be in better connection, better communion, and better effectiveness with God and the spirits that support you. Your spirit guides, the angels. I call them the Almighty. Call them what you want. I'm not here to debate with you about what you've chosen, but I can tell you, honey, the moment you start to do God's business in a big way, I'm not talking small time, so let's not play. I've always been a spiritualist. I've always been a prayer person. I've always been a weirdo in that regard. Grounding has been a part of my process for many, many years. Meditation has been a part of my process for many, many years. Mindfulness, cognitive behavioral therapy, all of that for many years. But it was only until I got in touch with the darkest parts of myself that my life started to change. This message is to implore you, don't run away from the scary parts. Cling to your darkness. Make your darkness your friend. Make that Lilith your friend, because the moment that things start to happen, you can feel that rising up in you. Sometimes you can see it miles and miles ahead, and you're able to walk yourself out of the fire before you really even get in there. That is doing God's business. That is doing God's work. So, young people, and I include young people from 0 to 50. Get in touch with your Lilith. Get in touch with the dark parts of yourself. Get in touch with the trauma. Seek therapy. I will never tell you to seek spiritual counseling from any church. You will never get that from me. I do not think that churches in the U.S. on a mass scale have done enough education around therapy to encourage anyone to do spiritual therapy through a organized religion. So you won't get that from me. There are ways in which to commune with spiritual leaders where you can bounce ideas off. You can have healthy dialogue, healthy conversation. And I do think that that's very healthy. But I will never tell you to go seek out your pastor. That's not going to be me, because you can't just go to a pastor thinking that a pastor is going to help you solely on your path to natural, environmental, and psychiatric hell. It just doesn't happen that way. God has given us so many other tools. We have to tap into all the tools that we have available to us. So seek therapy. Seek self-help books. Seek study groups. Seek support groups. It's so much available. Once you start to do that, your life will change. Once you start to get in touch with who you are, once you master your Lilith, once you start doing God's business, y'all, He gonna take care of your business. I swear for God. Listen. I love y'all. And I'm on a mission to help as many people as I can heal and be delivered and work with the divine to set themselves free. It's a partnership. It's not a takeover. It's not a hostile takeover. You work with God. That's part of your faith, right? So you got to have that mustard seed. You got to have that faith. Then you got to do work. You got to journal. You got to get to therapy. You got to get in prayer. You got to do all of the above. It's a daily process. You got to die daily. That ego death has to happen every single day. But once you start to do that, once you are open to doing that, the joy that will flood your soul, the peace that will flood your soul, the 100% undoubtedly no doubt about itness that floods your soul will be so much more worth it. Master your Lilith. I'm going to put a link to a birth chart here so that you can understand. If you're interested in learning more about how astrology and spirituality go hand in hand, even if you're a skeptic, that's okay. If you're interested in having those conversations, hit the link in my bio or here or wherever the heck it'll be. Let's talk. Let's figure that out. Let's debate that. There really should be no debate because we know that the scripture is basically, the Bible is basically taken from astrology. We know that it all goes hand in hand. If you are, especially if you are celebrating Jesus in December, you got to understand. But anyway, I wish you all a wonderful day. I pray blessings on y'all. Peace, happiness, joy. Master your Lilith. Stay away from the things that cause you dis-ease, because that causes you disease. Stay away from the people that cause you dis-ease, because that causes you disease. You'll look up and you'll be in jail again. You'll look up and you'll be fighting somebody that's crazy again. You're going to look just as crazy as they are fighting with a crazy person. God has freed me from that. God has freed me from that. I just refuse to entertain it. We don't ever have to speak. I'm not playing the game because I understand that Satan is seeking. He's trying to get everybody he can. But more importantly, I understand the dark parts of myself better than everybody. I know the things that are a trigger for me. I know the things that will cause a flame in a room, especially with people that I can't trust, especially with people who spiritually, I know what you think of me, especially with people who I see I can't trust, and especially with people who never have positive things to say. You won't find them around me. I've been delivered. That's the real truth. You will not find me around people who speak negatively about me. It's not going to happen. It sure ain't going to happen, and I know it because I've been delivered. I don't feel the need to be in relationship with anyone at all, just with the Lord. I don't feel the need to be in a relationship with my abusers. Why would I keep going to the place that I got sick, thinking I'm going to get a different result? It won't happen. That's insanity. And past insanity is just like, it's not strategic. You're not going to grow in that way. So we got to stop telling people, oh, that's your mama. Oh, that's your past. No. Stop that. Stop that. The moment your spirit tells you something is off, it's off. You don't need confirmation. It's off because God already gave you, when you got to this earth, he gave you intuition. Then when you draw closer to God, he gives you discernment. If your discernment is saying something off, I don't care who thinks what about what. Do not put yourself in those situations because you're casting your pearls to swine. You're not going to catch my pearls being trampled over. It's a no, fam. It's a no for me. So look amongst your circle. Look amongst the things that are around you, the places in which the people who you are always around, or you, every time you hear from them, they got something weird to say to you. They got something shrouded in ugliness to say to you. I don't care who they are. That's not doing God's business, because all that does is cause you disease, which keeps you further and further away from God. So if you take care of God's business, he'll take care of yours. He will bring peace into your life. He will always make a way. I am 100% convinced. This is the best. Now, I'm really good with referring people to things. I'm a guru of all kinds of things. I always have been. I'm just a researcher, and I like to, if I find something wonderful, I want to put other people on. Let me tell you what is wonderful. This is a testimonial, an informational video. I am not a paid actor or actress. If you take care of God's business, he will take care of yours. Figure out the dark parts of yourself. Get in touch with your Lilith. Tell her to sit down, and you are in charge. I love y'all. Take care.